Bob's Breakfast.
From Global's newsroom, I'm Fiona Winchester. David Bowie has died after
an embarrassing mistake. We've all made mistakes at work. I've made loads of them. In fact, you'll probably hear a few more this morning. So I'd like to know mistakes you've made at work. Natalie.
I was photocopying some music for my students.
Yeah.
And we were studying Dido and Aeneas, and I'd done it at university, so I thought, brilliant, I can use my resources that I used myself at university when I was singing Dido and Aeneas.
Right.
So I sent it all to be photocopied, and then in our first lesson, going through the pieces, we got to a page where I, as a university student, had graffitied all over one of the pages with not only rude words, but also rude pictures. And so my class of 5 A-level students saw what myself at 21 had been drawing.
No! Talking about being outside your comfort zone this morning, Chris, this is because a bloke's making the news. He's done this blog where for 2015 he did 52 things that were outside his comfort zone. Now, to be honest, flying to Berlin was one of them.
Why would that be out your comfort zone?
I don't know. Giving blood was another one, which shouldn't be outside your comfort zone.
No.
However, one of them, though, doing stand-up comedy, that would definitely be outside your comfort zone.
Oh, completely. That would be a real challenge. Didn't you do something like that?
Yeah, I sucked at that.
Did you?
Oh, I was... That is like... I tried at that. I think I ended up doing maybe 10, maybe 15 gigs, and then went, nah, this is just terrible.
I bet it's brutal.
It is. I mean, I think it was my second night was okay. No, the first one was okay, and I think like the second or third was pretty good, and I never got back to that level. Then they got worse, and every one of them after that was worse and worse and worse. I even crashed and burned in a comedy club in Denver, Colorado. So talk about outside your comfort zone. Let's do stand-up comedy, which you're rubbish at. Let's do it in another country.
To a country that has a completely different sense of humour.
Well, they couldn't understand. And it wasn't even like New York or LA, which are like cosmopolitan. It was Denver. And so they were just looking at me as if I'd arrived from another planet. I could see on their faces they were struggling to understand me.
Oh, right.
And the place, I think it was called the 405 or something. It was actually the number of the street they were on. The street was called Broadway in Colorado, and this comedy club was called Club 405 or 119. Or it was the number of the street that it was on. So that showed you how creative these people were. And I walked in there, and there were mullets. It was like a haircut museum. And at the back of the room, there were people playing pool.
Really?
Oh, it was just brutal. And I went on, the first couple of people that went on, the stuff they were doing, because I was doing all clean stuff.
Yeah.
And the stuff they were doing was filthy. They were talking about, what are roofies? Aren't they a date rape drug?
Yes.
They were talking about slipping women roofies, and it was just, no, it was hideous stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really going down well with the mullets.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I haven't got a chance. So I get up, and it was because I was in Denver for a radio convention, breakfast radio shows. And I'm with, Gene and Julie.
Yes.
The husband and wife team who do a breakfast radio show. They're in South Carolina now, I think. But they were working in Dallas at the time. And they were there, and they were coming to support me and whatever. And there was a producer from New York. There was like some radio people. And so I get up and I start off thinking I'll relate to them. And like the airport in Denver is like a 2-hour drive, from the town. So I'm doing stuff like, I flew in the other day, that kind of great to be here kind of thing. But I wish you had an airport in the same state and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
None of it working. But them kind of being fascinated by this weird voice that they'd not heard. By the way, the comedy club next door to a gun shop, right?
So, well, this was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Were there loads of pickup trucks outside?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Anyway, so it's next door to it's literally next door to a gun shop. So, and then I said, what was it? Oh, I said, the reason why I'm here is because there's a radio convention on in a hotel down the street or downtown. I said, all of the top radio talent from all over America is there right now. So, like, one finely placed bomb in that hotel, you'd change the face of American radio forever. And it got beyond silence. Oh, it was just really uncomfortable. And I felt it. And I thought, well, I've got to get out of this. So I said, oh, okay, fine. Terrorism makes you uncomfortable. I get that. It's new to you. Because in Britain, we grew up with it. We had the IRA. In fact, every Guy Fawkes night, November the 5th, we have a whole celebration celebrating a terrorist who tried to... And I was digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I was supposed to do, I think it was like 20 minutes, and I don't know, like 14 minutes or something. I came off.
Yeah.
And I said to Jean, I said, well, I'm not sure that went too well. And he went, let's go. We ran out.
The car.
We ran out and hailed a taxi. This guy who's a producer from New York, he ran into the street and hailed a taxi. And we got in the taxi and went. Because I don't know what would have happened if I'd have stayed.
Bob's Breakfast.
Survey out today of hotels talks about some of the more unusual items left behind, including keys to a Bentley, £10,000 in cash, a mother-in-law and a Shetland pony. I'd like to know what you've left behind. Where'd you leave it? What's the story? Karen?
It's something my husband left behind.
What was it?
Our newborn baby left it in the car.
What? How did this happen?
I had a hospital appointment. She was only a couple of weeks old. He dropped me and our eldest daughter off at the hospital doors, went to park the car, and when he came to meet us at the clinic, he was empty-handed. And after a minute, I said, oh, and the baby? And he said some words and ran off.
Now, I suppose if he's a brand new father, he's not into the routine of keeping his eye on the baby. Maybe you could give him that?
No, second time around. He
realised
right. He was there.
No excuse. Do you ever let him forget it?
Yeah, we're not together now, as in the ex-husband bit, so hey.
Oh, it didn't work out?
No.
Well, I'm no marriage guidance counsellor, but I would say that kind of behaviour would have had a bearing on the fact that the marriage didn't work out.
Possibly.
Bob's Breakfast.
One-eyed monsters. Cars with only one working headlight. I'm being plagued by them, and I'm pretty sure I know why. It's because hardly anybody does basic car maintenance anymore. My dad was no mechanic, but he did every oil change on his Cortina himself. Most drivers these days wouldn't even know where to find the dipstick. Every morning, on my 8-mile drive to work, I see the one-eyed monsters. At least one, sometimes as many as 4. That might not seem a lot, but considering I'm on the road before 5 a.m. and don't see that many other cars, that ratio pretty high. Changing a headlight, or even noticing that you've only got one, is one of the basics of car maintenance that people just don't do anymore. Okay, I have to admit, the last oil change I did myself was on my Ford Escort when I was 17. But at least I know how to check the oil. And it's easy to find the dipstick in cars being driven with only one headlight. It's between the steering wheel and the seat.
This is Bob FM.
Gary's on the phone.
Things you left behind.
Yes.
A few years ago, when the kids were young, my wife used to make me go to Clacton-on-Sea, and I hated it so much.
Right.
And one particular holiday, she wanted her father and her mother to come with us, so I hated it even more.
Right.
So I traipsed off down to Clacton, loaded everybody up, went off to Clacton, 80-mile journey, got to the campsite. I thought to myself, well, I haven't got to drive for a week, I'm going to have a beer.
Right.
Walked into the bar after unpacking, just putting the beer to my mouth. My wife shouted at me, put the pint down. I said, what's wrong? She said, my dad's left his tablets behind. I went, what tablets? She goes, the tablets that basically keep him alive. So there I am, with putting the beer down. I have to drive all the way back to Waltham Abbey, 80 miles, pick up these tablets and drive all the way back to Clacton, 240 miles to a place I hate.
I'm surprised you didn't take the tablets yourself.
I really thought about swapping the tablets and just putting aspirin in and just watching it.
And so there you are, old fella, there you go. Yeah.
It still reminds me to this day about it.
Talking about New Year's resolutions, because 2016, exactly a week old today. So how are you going with yours? Alison?
I haven't made one.
Yeah.
Because for the last few months I've been stopped smoking anyway, and I've been eating healthy anyway, and I'm just carrying that on. I haven't put on any weight over Christmas, so...
You haven't put any weight on over Christmas?
Nope. I haven't been on a diet either. I just don't seem to have much of an appetite lately. So.
And that's working okay for you?
Yeah, I take my vitamins, and so I haven't really got any...
Even though you packed up smoking, that didn't bung the weight on?
Nope.
Yeah, you got it cracked. You got it worked out,
Yeah,
Alison.
I've got an electronic cigarette, though.
Oh, a pacifier.
Yes, but I'm slowly coming off that, so that could be...
No, you got to knock that on the head. That's just as bad.
Well, my son's been smoking his one for a year and a half. He said, don't worry, Mum, they're less harmful than cigarettes, so just do what you're doing.
Well, they're less harmful for other people with the second-hand smoke, but I don't know. I think the jury's still out on whether they're any good for you. You're putting chemicals in your body that you don't need. Can't be good for you.
Lots more chemicals in my body.
How can whatever it is, whatever vapour you suck out of that thing, how can that be better for you than air? Like, I'm no scientist, but there's no way that can be better for you than air.
Yes, but it's better for you than proper roll-up that I was.
Well, yeah, but only, I know, but when you've got air available for free and not habit forming, well, I suppose it is, but it's a good habit. When air is available for free, you're paying to put poison in. I don't get it. How you going with your New Year's resolution? Carl?
Not too good.
Oh, what was it?
I was going to give up smoking.
Right,
and I failed miserably.
So, midnight comes on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You decide not to light up. How long does that last?
About 30 minutes.
Half an hour, is that all?
Not very good.
No.
But there's always next New Year's Eve.
Right, there's always next New Year's Eve.
You know, so...
All right. Let's get the latest news now with Chris Hubbard.
We hear so much about drones in the news. There were all sorts of warnings before Christmas. Well, now a Chinese company is testing out a passenger drone. So this is one of the ideas that's been unveiled in Las Vegas at a technology show this week. It's designed to carry a single person up to 10 miles.
So, my first question is, isn't that called a helicopter?
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's a drone, so it's controlled by a nerd on the ground.
That's right. Yeah,
what
absolutely.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's...
At least if you're flying in something where the pilot would die if he made a mistake as well, there's a bit of an incentive for it to get you down safely, isn't there? But when the person is safely when the pilot is safely on the ground and has nothing invested in this experience, that's got to be fraught with danger.
It looks like a small personal helicopter, but with those, those massive arms and the 4 propellers like drones have. This is the design. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. I'm not sure I want to be one of the people testing it, though.
I would say the same thing that the caterpillar said the first time he saw a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get me up in one of those things.
Bob's Breakfast.
Memorable phone calls. Kelly.
About 2 weeks ago, I got this really random message, and it was from a guy, and he was kind of telling me his life story about the fact that he'd got kicked out, his wife had left him, and taken the kids. He couldn't see the kids. He's homeless, and can I help? And I thought, it's got to be one of these scam messages.
Yeah.
So I didn't even answer it. About an hour later, then he used my name, saying, "Kelly, I really thought that you'd be able to help." So I thought, no, I'll leave it again. It's got to be one of these scams. It's certainly nobody I know. And I asked them, then I texted back saying, "I'm sorry, I'm not too sure I know who you are."
So this was by text you were getting this message?
This is by text, yeah.
Okay.
So then I thought, no, there's got to be something. And I sort of said to my husband, it's got to be a scam. Somebody's got to be having me on.
Mm.
So then after a day's worth of these text messages, they were getting more and more sad by the message. And they weren't asking for money. They weren't asking for any kind of stuff. They were just asking for help. So then that evening, I finally gave in. Curiosity got the better of me. So I rang this guy. And he said that he was in a homeless shelter, and they'd found one of my business cards in a street. And I sounded like I'd be a person who would know what to do. Bear in mind, I don't do anything to do with...
What is your business? What business would it have said on the card?
I work in IT.
Right, this is IT, right. Homeless person, yeah, okay.
So anyway, I'm on the phone with this guy, and he's kind of going through his thing, and then all of a sudden I've kind of started talking to him about homeless shelters and possibly going to Citizens Advice to see where he can go. An hour later, I've managed to, I've gone through sort of Google, I've found homeless shelters, I've found the numbers of homeless shelters and people who can help. An hour later, I helped this guy. And he was like, I knew you could help, Kelly.
And he was right! You could help! He was right all along!
Down, and my husband went, oh, that was weird. And I was like, yeah, that was a little bit weird.
But it's a happy ending, you've helped somebody.
But I'd got a text message from him about a week later saying, thank you so much for your help. I'm booked in at a shelter.
Oh, hey, Kelly, that's a great story with a happy ending.
It was, just totally out of the blue. Somebody found my business card in London.
Unbelievable.
Picked it up and thought, I don't know, man.
Worth a punt. And he did. He was right. You could help. You were exactly the right person he needed.
I know, so really weird, but good story, and I suppose my good deed for,
it's a random act of kindness, yeah.
Last year I'm going to have to do another good deed.
You have to do another one, okay. Kelly, thanks a lot.
Bob's Breakfast.
Stop the show. There's been a glitch in the Matrix. Let's look back at the last 5 days in news in review. First of all, we hear that North Korea has a hydrogen bomb. Then David Bowie dies. And now Jerry Hall is getting married to Rupert Murdoch.
This is Bob.
Let's go live to our roads. Well, actually, to Steve, who's in Great Ashby. And he's actually at his house. The road is in view from where he is. What's it look like there? We're talking about flooding and road problems. What's happening, Steve?
Looking out the windows now, it's actually pitch black outside. I can't see anything right now.
Yes.
So no, perfectly not been affected.
Okay, so you can tell me, in Great Ashby, the report we've had so far, it looks okay, but it is very dark. You're reporting excessive dark in Great Ashby this morning.
Yeah, thanks to Hertfordshire County Council's great thing of switching the street lights off.
Yeah, that's how stingy they are. That you pay your council tax for rubbish to be collected and for your street lights to be on, and they turn the street lights off, one of the basic, so they can afford more bottled water at their stupid meetings and other things that they're spending money on that you don't care about. But they've turned the street lights off, so we can't see what the conditions are. Thanks, council. Right. All right.
Well, stand for election, Graham, and you've got my vote.
Now, the thing letting it down would be I'd have to be a politician, and I hate politicians. There's a club I would not join. Simon's on the phone. What do you think of this news? That Jerry Hall is engaged to be married to Rupert Murdoch.
Hold the front page.
Well, hold the front page of everything that he owns, which is almost everything, isn't it? Sky TV, Fox News... 20th Century Fox, The Sun, The Times. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Crazy, isn't it?
Well, at least it shows that Jerry Hall isn't shallow and didn't go for someone just for their good looks.
This is Bob FM.
Interesting this morning, we're talking about flooding because of all the heavy rain forecast. Businesses have been urged to do a little bit more to make preparations in case of flooding.
So just picking up on something that Steve said there, we're paying all this council tax.
Yeah.
We're paying all this income tax. We're paying road tax. We're paying fuel duty. And the minute we get a bit of rain, we're flooded. And then we have to pay the cost of that, when surely that's what we're paying for in our taxation.
The insurers been relied on a lot, obviously. In these,
well, they're not
these
going
sorts
to
of
pay out.
occasions.
The whole idea of insurance is to not pay out. That's why they have insurance assessors. They go down there looking for loopholes. Their whole business is based on not paying out. And on the off chance that that is a racket. The off chance that they do have to pay out, then they just put everybody's premiums up later to make up the shortfall. So they never lose. It's not like gambling. Insurance sounds like gambling. It sounds like the insurance companies, they're putting a bet on that it won't happen so that they don't have to pay out. But if you're gambling in a casino and you lose, you lose. You can't then, gain it somewhere else, That's not how it works. With insurance companies, they can put the premiums on there. They never lose. It is an incredible business. I wish I'd thought of it. It's fantastic. But really, the government love talking about the insurance companies as if it's got something to do with them. No, hang on. We didn't pay any tax to the insurance companies. We paid all this tax to you. And, just to have the roads not flooded and the street lights on, they're kind of the basics.
Well, this is interesting because every time we get heavy rain, say, for example, just a local example to here, the bridge at the end of Old Nebworth Lane.
Yeah. Always floods.
Always floods. Why can't something be done about that? It's not like it's caught anybody by surprise.
No.
Every time it rains.
It's every time it rains. Martin said to me, because we were trying to get through the floods this morning, he said, how often does it flood here? I'm like, all the time. It's not like you're going like, once every 10 years, once every 100. It's all the time.
Absolutely.
It could flood 20 times a year, quite easily.
And people get stuck in it, and they have to get the emergency crews out to rescue people as well.
Yeah,
so
cars are written off.
Knock-on effects of that. So it's costing the emergency services
People don't make
more.
it to work to earn the money to pay the tax for them to not do this.
And we keep hearing as well that Britain has some of the finest engineering minds in the country.
That's right.
Surely they
But
can
some of
come
the
up with a
worst
solution.
politicians, unfortunately. Now, who is calling now? So they've been pointing the finger at the insurance companies.
Yeah.
Now, who is calling for businesses to do more?
This is Hearts County Council.
Hearts County Council. Politicians love spreading the blame. Shocking survey out today says that a quarter of school kids in Britain couldn't identify a robin redbreast or a blackbird. Survey also shows that they had no problem identifying a chicken. McNugget.
Traffic wardens have been given police protection after rows with parents outside the school gate. Now, this is in Gravesend in Kent. Traffic wardens, they've been paired up with police officers. They've reportedly had abuse by parents who park on those hash markings outside schools. And now the police have been brought in to defuse the situation.
There's some weird stuff going on. David Bowie has died. That's just not right.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Hall is engaged to Rupert Murdoch. I'd love to have an opinion on that, but I'm worried that Rupert Murdoch will have me killed if I say something. But the other thing that you're about to hear this morning that you won't believe is I'm going to side with the traffic wardens on this.
I'm sorry?
Yes. If someone is illegally parked and it's the traffic warden's job to make sure they're not illegally parked there because they're blocking the road or whatever it is, well, I'm sorry, you can't give the parents the right to abuse the traffic wardens if I know coming from me, this goes against everything you believe in.
What do you normally describe traffic wardens as?
Yellow stripe parking vultures.
So this is a massive break from the normal view.
Yes, because, I object to traffic wardens giving people chicken poo tickets. I'm talking about when they're like an inch over the line or they're 5 minutes over on their pay and display. That shouldn't be going on. It shouldn't be going on. But in this case, the parents should not be illegally parked. And what would be the harm in dropping off their obese child a little bit further away from the school where you can park and letting the kid get some exercise and walk? Coldest morning of the year so far. You been colder than this? Julie?
The coldest place
Yes.
we've ever been.
Yes.
We went skiing in Bulgaria.
Bulgaria?
And my fiancé fell down the mountain and broke his collarbone and everything. So anyway, he was fine. The next day we went up there and we went up this post office tower thing where you have lunch, and it was minus 35. It was absolutely freezing.
You know, the thing that amazed me about that story is that your other half had a serious accident, some major injuries, including a broken bone. But as far as you're concerned, the most horrific part of the trip was going up the tower and being a bit cold.
It was freezing.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. All right, it's just the level of sympathy. I don't think it's... there's an imbalance that I'm detecting. Are you still with him?
Yeah, we're getting married in September in Wales.
All right, well, good luck to him. All right, thanks.
Bye.
What's the story about the smoking? More of our tax money is going to be used to get people to stop doing something that they want to do.
That's right, yes. Yeah, that's probably sums it up quite nicely, actually. So, pregnant women, young people, two of the groups that council officials and the NHS are pledging to move away from smoking. I mean, pregnant women, it makes sense. Young people, it makes sense. You're not knackering your lungs up for the rest of your life. But yeah, they're wanting to sign this pledge. A pledge to stop people smoking. So hopefully something good will come of this.
How about the people just stop smoking? I mean, the smoking thing is beyond me. It's written on the packet that this product, when used exactly as the manufacturer describes that you should use it, when it's used exactly that way, will kill you. Pretty much any other product that's dangerous, it's when you use it, abuse it. Like, if you drive a car safely, you'll usually be okay. If you drive a car like an idiot, that's when it becomes a problem. No car manufacturer recommends you drive a car like an idiot. If you drink alcohol, even in moderation, you'll be fine, but if you drink it to excess, you'll have a problem. The people say, please drink responsibly. The people who sell it. No one says, please smoke responsibly. Because it's not that kind of product. It's a kind of product that, when it's used properly, will probably kill you.
If you went into a supermarket and, I don't know, picked up a breakfast cereal that had a warning on the side that said, this product will kill you, you'd probably leave it well alone, wouldn't you?
Yes!
You wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Yes! What's going on with... Now, first of all, I can't work out how shops who sell cigarettes get around the assisted suicide rules. Because smoking is basically suicide. People know that it's going to kill them. If they do it enough, it'll kill them. And they know that. But it's not illegal to commit suicide in this country. So they can go for their life. That's freedom. But it is illegal to assist someone to commit suicide. And surely if you sell them the tools to do the job, it's like if you sell someone a gun, that's not assisted suicide, because the gun is not designed for you to shoot yourself. But cigarettes are.
There's only one place that cigarettes go,
so that is you're working on assisted suicide. However, I have to hand it to the tobacco companies, because that is the perfect business model, isn't it?
Why is this?
Did you know how we hear about these electronic cigarettes, which have now been approved by, there's an organisation, it is the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, British thing. These electronic cigarettes have been approved by the MHRA, which means they can now be classed as medicine.
That's right. Yeah.
Right, and be prescribed. You can, if you want to give up smoking, you can go to your GP and say, I can't give up smoking. I want some of these electronic cigarettes. I don't want to pay for them. I want someone else to pay for them. Oh, fine. Yeah, we'll do that. And then our tax money is used to pay for electronic cigarettes. Do you know who owns the companies that make the electronic cigarettes?
I've got a sneaking suspicion.
It's the tobacco companies. British American Tobacco own that. Is it Evoke? There's one brand owned by British American Tobacco. So this is how this business model works. First of all, they sell you a product, cigarettes, that are highly addictive and deadly. When you've had enough of that and you think, you know what, I don't want to commit suicide the slow way. I want to quit this habit, but it's addictive. So I need to get some way of getting off it. So then the tobacco companies, the people who got you hooked on this thing that's killing you, they now sell you something else to get you off the product that they sold you to get you hooked on. And if you don't want to pay for it, they get the taxpayer to pay for it.
This is Bob. Bob.
Coldest place you've ever been. What's the story? Maya.
Yes, it's in Poland, because I'm from Poland, and the coldest weather is -30.
-30?
Yes, and I remember I took my husband the first time, because we know each other for over 15 years now, and poor bugger was sick in bed the next day because he couldn't cope.
Oh, no.
Now he's fine. We do skiing together.
You did go skiing. He's happy with the cold weather. And where was he brought up? Where's he from?
He's British.
He's British. Whereabouts?
We live in Stevenage.
Stevenage, yeah, he's just a softie compared to you hardened Polish people who can take -30.
Yes, I know. But it's amazing. It's really crispy, lots of snow. It's beautiful.
I'm sure it looks great, but as my dad used to say, best place for snow is on Christmas cards.
So yes, enjoy.
Man flies helicopter and has lunch in school canteen doesn't really make for an exciting headline, but when that man in particular is Prince William and he lands at a school in Stevenage and tucks into a roast chicken dinner and has cauliflower cheese for lunch in the school canteen, that's when people start getting a little bit excited. Quite a few of the papers have picked up on this morning after we first reported it yesterday. Prince William landed in his air ambulance. He's working for the East Anglian Air Ambulance at the moment. Landed at the John Henry Newman School yesterday afternoon. The school is, of course, near the Lister Hospital, so the school field sometimes used as a landing site for the helicopters. So he landed there just before 1 o'clock. A video has now emerged of that moment where he was in the school field. He was greeted by no end of staff and students, very, very excitable students. You can see that video on our website, bobfm.co.uk. It's been sent to us, and also it's on our Facebook page. I've popped it on our Twitter feed as well. But a lot of excitement there, and the Daily Mail are also reporting on it this morning with various photos of Prince William eating his lunch. With a lot of attention being paid to exactly what was on his plate. Not very complimentary photos of him either. To be
really?
I think that a lot of them have been taken by students on the mobile phones.
Oh, right. Was he having a bad no-hair day?
He's having a significant no-hair day. Of course, he's had a short haircut recently as well.
Yes.
Which doesn't necessarily help the situation.
Now I'm torn with this story because, you know, if I was at school and a prince arrived by helicopter to have lunch with us, that would be like beyond cool.
Absolutely.
Those kids have had a great day.
Yeah.
Because this bloke is a major celebrity. However, if anyone else who worked for Air Ambulance flew the Air Ambulance helicopter to a school and had lunch with them, they'd get fired. You know what I mean? This is the Air Ambulance. This is an important vehicle.
Yeah,
you can't do just
refueling,
but you know, that was the wrong use of that vehicle, wasn't it? That's not what it's for.
Well, he'd been dropping doctors off at the Lister Hospital as well, so transporting people around. But
even so, if a pilot of an air ambulance, after dropping doctors off at the Lister, which also I don't think is the job of the air ambulance, don't we have cars to do that? But anyway. But if in his line of work, if he's legitimately flying in his line of work from point A to point B, and he wants to, if another pilot had just landed at a school and said, I'm going to have lunch with these kids, he'd get fired. But anyway, that aside, the only way I can kind of square the circle of the problem I have with the royal family and the whole thing, because it makes no sense in the 21st century, is to try and work out what they're about. Because this was clearly a PR exercise. It's getting him some great press this morning.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a PR, and it's for the kids, it's a lovely thing, right? It's a nice thing. It's a PR exercise. So I'm trying to think, you know, in all lines of work, it doesn't matter what it is, getting good PR is good for business. So no matter if your business makes widgets, and you suddenly sponsor some charity event, you get good publicity for Widget Limited.
Absolutely.
And whatever business you're in, you've got PR as a very tiny part of it, but it can reap huge rewards. The royal family all they do is PR. It doesn't matter whether it's a parade down the Mall with soldiers and marching bands, or cutting a ribbon, or unveiling a plaque, or giving a speech. That's all they do. It's just PR for the monarchy.
Yeah, the Duke
That's
of
all they
Edinburgh,
do.
Duke of Edinburgh wheels out the same joke every single time that he goes to pull a curtain open and
What do you know? Do you know the joke?
Yeah, well, I've heard it numerous times, and it's not really a joke.
Oh, what is
but
it?
Everybody kind of chuckles.
What does
along
he
with
say?
it. He said, "You're about to see the best unveiling of a plaque by a professional plaque unveiler," or something along those sorts of lines.
So
But,
he knows what it is.
Oh yeah, he knows the game.
But that's a weird business where for other businesses, PR is a part of the business. But for their business, all they do is if someone says, I work in PR for the royal family. Yeah, okay. Well, what else do they do? Everything they do is PR.
That's a good point.
Because they're actually not allowed to have other jobs. They're not allowed to earn money from other things, There's all kinds of rules and stuff. But, yeah, okay. So Prince William drops in, has lunch with some students.
Has cauliflower cheese and roast chicken.
Which is a fabulous thing for the kid. They would have it would have just been so exciting.
Oh, completely.
So exciting. But I don't know about the use of the air ambulance for PR.
Bob's Breakfast with trustedtrader.com.
If you want to dream tonight, wake up. Good morning. I'm Graham Mack, and that is the advice from experts who've done a survey. And they say that you only really dream when you're in REM sleep, which isn't the real deep stuff. The real deep stuff, you don't dream. So they suggest if you want to dream, you should set an alarm to wake up and then try and get back to sleep. And then you'll get to the REM stage of sleep and you will actually dream. So we're talking about dreams this morning, weird dreams, freaky dreams, recurring dreams. Nancy.
I can restart my dreams the next night.
What?
As long as I remember what I've dreamt the night before. So as I wake up, I remember the last scene.
Yes.
And then when I go to sleep, I think about it, and then on it goes again.
Another episode. It's like Netflix. If it's a box set.
Exactly. And it's just as actually, it's more exciting. Amazing dream. But
So-
I'm not a good sleeper, so that backs up your...
Yes. The research says that if you want to dream more, then the best bet is to wake up and then get back to sleep because you'll go into a lighter sleep, a dream, the REM sleep. So what happened in last night's episode?
Oh, it was a bit scary last night.
Yeah?
It was all about a house and somebody chasing me through a house, but it was really interesting.
Right,
But it was all a
okay.
bit- yeah,
So I bet you can't wait to get to sleep tonight to find out how it turns out.
absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
do you
'cause I
do an omnibus version on the weekend?
I would.
Bob's Breakfast.
The Met Office, who forecast this Arctic blast. In fact, I read a report yesterday that it's going to be colder than the South Pole.
Minus 15 in some
Minus
reports.
15. Now, in my car this morning, to be fair, I think this morning could actually be just the coldest morning of the year so far.
I had to give mine a mild scraping down. this
Did you?
morning. A mild
Well,
scraping
you know
down.
I don't do that. I have sub-zero squirter fluid. And I sit in the car and squirt the squirter fluid on. Well, why do you have it? Anyway, and then have the windscreen wipers just to clear it straight away. That's all it is. The stuff to get is that IPA, isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol.
Really?
That's
Was it?
Yeah, there's a stuff called IPA, isopropyl alcohol.
Okay.
We used to use it to clean the heads on old tape machines in radio stations, back in steam-driven radio. That's that stuff. It won't freeze till something like minus 100 or something. That's the stuff. But you put it in your washer fluid. I don't know why everyone carries around a trigger bottle or you put it in your washer fluid, it'll squirt straight on the windscreen. Whatever it is you use as a de-icer, if you have to buy the trigger bottle, unscrew the top, pour it into the washer fluid.
It's a good idea.
I don't know why we have that separate can rattling around in the car. I don't know what that's all about.
all year.
Yeah,
You never end up using it
No.
when it comes round to it anyway.
Put it in the washer fluid. Anyway, so I don't do the scraping. However, although I've said that it is the coldest morning of the year, which was predicted about a week ago by the Met Office, it's still 1.5 degrees Celsius, the gauge in my car. What was it showing in yours? Do you remember?
I don't have one.
Okay. Well, yesterday it was showing 2 degrees.
Yeah.
This morning, 1.5. It's got to go to minus figures for it to be an issue, really, hasn't it?
It has. I remember, what was it, last year? Went down to -7, -8.
There you go. So this Arctic, they're still exaggerating. The Met Office, they annoy me because it's not like they just get it wrong, but they get it spectacularly wrong, but they always over-exaggerate. What's that all about?
Well, you're edging your bets, aren't you? You're kind of covering yourself.
But it's always in the negative. It's always in... Oh, no, hang on. No, in July, they predicted the driest, hottest summer ever, didn't they, for July? And we got the coldest, wettest.
Yeah, it wasn't brilliant.
So it's not always in the negative. It's just always in the extreme. They forecast something extreme, and it turns out to just be not that big a deal. The long-range forecast, just... What's the point? They're never accurate. Never. Why can't they just go, the weather's going to do what it's going to do? It's going to be cold and wet in the winter. It's going to be warm and drier in the summer, but it'll do what it's going to do. We've no idea what it's going to do. But they got all this science and satellites and weather balloons, and don't they make a meal of it on the TV news? How long does it take to tell you that it's going to be sunny or not the next day? Charts.
Yeah. If you look at Sky News, they've got a massive, massive weather map.
Yes, it's a whole wall.
Thing of it.
It's a weather wall, isn't it?
It is. That's how important the weather is.
I found out something, Germany, Martin's been flown. If Martin's listening right now, he's out in the office. If he could come in right now, because he's, can you see him out there? I know he's probably got headphones on listening to stuff for the...
He's running around right now.
Oh, is he? Okay. Martin was telling me something interesting about, here he is. Martin, you've flown in from Germany. You were telling me, now this is true.
Okay.
In Germany, weather presenters on the TV, what are they called?
They're called weather frogs.
Weather frogs?
Yes. Now, obviously, it's a different word. They use the German word for frog.
Yeah, it would be Wetterfrosch.
Wetterfrosch.
Yeah.
Frosch is a frog. A Wetterfrosch.
Frosch is a frog.
And wetter is weather?
Yeah.
Wetter?
Yeah.
Now, I've always said German's a comedy language. Wetter. That means weather, right?
Well, that should be the name of weather in England. Basically.
It should be. That's what I'm saying. And it should be the Wet Office.
The Wet Office.
Yes. But anyway, weather frogs. The people who present the weather on TV news are called weather frogs, not because they're French. We had this discussion on the way home yesterday, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Martin had no idea that we call the French frogs. It's not a term of endearment.
No, it's not.
It's a put down. It's not nice.
Yeah.
There's usually a swear word precedes the word frogs, and it's usually when French people have annoyed you for no reason.
I'll keep them in mind.
Okay, don't
like
call them French frogs. It's not nice. Yeah. But anyway, these people who do the weather are called weather frogs. Why?
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think in, earlier times, people used to keep frogs in glasses, didn't they, to predict the weather? And
you say didn't they? I was not aware that people used to keep frogs under glass.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how it is. And then the frog would, depending on how the frog would behave, people would know, oh, the weather's going to be nice and sunny, or, well, it's probably going to rain. And so they made these predictions.
How have I missed this?
I missed it too.
Somewhere in history.
I missed it. So I'm guessing like a bell jar kind of thing.
Probably.
There's a poor frog in there.
You know, if it depends. If
it's a live frog, by the way.
You know, if you have it's how do you call it pressure when it comes to weather?
A barometric pressure.
Yeah. Exactly.
A barometer would measure the barometric.
It might be that the frog probably might react to that or
might be sensitive to the barometric pressure and behave a different way. And so. In old Germany, they used to predict the weather using actual live frogs, which is cruel. Shocking thing to do, keep a frog just for predicting the weather. And so the tradition has now moved on. They have human frogs.
Sort of, yeah, but they're still making interesting predictions. But I have to look that up. Might be all a very interesting, funny story, but untrue.
You're got to do some research for us later on. Maybe as well you can give us more information on the German weather frog tradition of predicting the weather using captive frogs. Okay.
Or a weatherman.
Yes. Maybe we should just take people who work at the Met Office and keep them in jars and see how they react. Probably be more accurate than the satellites and the stuff they're using right now. All right, you'll find out a bit more on that for us later.
I'll look that up.
Okay, thank you, Martin.
This is Bob.
Today in London, it's the auditions for the next series of Britain's Got Talent. So this morning, what's your talent? Jean, you're going to do a bit of singing for us. What kind of song?
Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond. And they called it Puppy Love.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, I can have a good old karaoke.
Yeah, a bit of karaoke, eh? Give us a bit more puppy love, then.
And they called it puppy love.
Ah, beautiful,
Just
beautiful.
because we're in our teens.
Ah, takes me back. There you go. Hey, thank you very much, Jean.
Bob's Breakfast. Controversy this morning over tickets for a street party to mark the Queen's 90th birthday in the Mall. There's been all sorts of criticism because these tickets are going to cost £150 each. Her grandson has announced. Peter Phillips said the lunch on the 12th of June was a not-for-profit event and would have a carnival atmosphere. There's going to be 10,000 guests. They're going to be from the organisations associated with the Queen. 1,000 tickets, just 1,000, are going to be released in a public ballot next month.
Now, they're saying street party, which conjures up images of tables on the street, sandwiches, jelly, ice cream, that kind of thing. Is it an actual street party? Is it catered? What do you get for your 150 quid? Because if you just get to stand by the side of the road and watch a parade go by, that's not very good value.
I think you've more or less hit the nail on the head. No, they are promising entertainment. It's going to be on the Mall, so
yes.
It is on a street, technically. But the exact details at the moment are still a bit sketchy. I mean, the party's guests are going to be given hampers of food at tables set up along the Mall.
Well, they're the guests. These are not the £150 a ticket people. You must get so for 150 quid.
You would think so, wouldn't you? They say they're going to have a carnival parade. The Queen and Duke of Edinburgh are going to take to a stage to listen to speeches marking the occasion.
But
So
she doesn't like any of that. You know, whenever they do that, remember when they had that big concert outside Bookhouse for, was it the Diamond Jubilee or whatever it was?
Oh, yeah.
And whenever she sits and she has to listen to performers, or that time they took her.
I remember.
She always pulls her face. She doesn't look like has anybody asked her what she wants? This nice old lady is being forced to listen to all kinds of things she's not into. She's nearly 90 years old. Does she really want to see some of this?
It was that big concert organised by Gary Barlow. That was a few years
now
ago.
that, how that got past. Mom, we're going to put on a big concert and it's all organised by Gary Barlow. I'm out. I mean, right there. Did anybody want to see that?
Grace Jones will also be on the bill. Hula hooping. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It was just peculiar.
Yes, it was. Yeah, actually, that was probably one of the highlights.
That's all everybody talked about afterwards.
Because then we have to deal with Cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Gary Barlow.
Yeah. Remember Cliff being quite out of tune.
Yeah, a few of them were.
Yeah.
I think McCartney was okay.
Yes.
But the others, not so much.
No. But this is
my point is, she never looks like she enjoys these things.
No.
Why don't they find out what she wants? She might just want to go to a harvester.
Bob's Breakfast.
What's your talent? Liz, you're a dancer. What kind of dancing do you do?
Salsa.
You do salsa? Are you ready to salsa for me then, please, Liz? Are you? Positions, please. Positions.
Oh,
ready?
okay then.
Okay, here we go.
What have you got?
Oh, like it. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're good at this. Woo-hoo! I love the way that the navel moves in those circular motions, yeah. And the hips, I like the way the hips are going. Yeah, this. Woo-hoo! The judges like this. They like it. Oh, and the dip, yes. All right, thank you very much, Liz. It's the Auditions of Britain's Got Talent today. What's your talent?
Bob's Breakfast.
We're not getting enough exercise.
Clearly not. No. British Heart Foundation saying not.
Who's that bloke you just had on? He said some good stuff. What was it? He said
Andy Pryor.
Yes.
Personal trainer in Stevenage.
Yeah, no, he's right. We said we don't take the opportunity to exercise. Now, you know me, I don't exercise. I have a strict policy of no pain. But now and again, I will go the slightly longer way or use stairs rather than lift in places. I worked at a radio station once that was I was at the 3rd or the 4th floor. I had an underground car park and I used to park the car and I always used to use the stairs. And then one day the boss took me to lunch and he said, "Oh, do you want to go down the stairs?" I said, "No, I'm all right in the lift." He said, "I thought you were scared of lifts." And I went,
right.
And I went, no. And he went, but you always use the stairs. I said, yeah, because I just want to get some exercise.
Yeah.
Ah, that's how bizarre it was. Why would he not use the stairs when there's a lift? Oh, he must have a phobia. There's no other reason. It doesn't make... We are programmed not to exercise. Look at any gym. All the cars parked near the front door. Look at here. Now, Bob FM is not a vast facility.
It's not a big building by any stretch of the imagination.
It would be, I'd say it was probably about the size of a 4-bedroom house. Would that be fair? 2-story, 4-bedroom house, maybe?
Yeah, around about that.
About that size. And you can park right outside it. All the cars park along the there's 2 walls. All the cars park along there. But like, people who are parked by the back wall, when they go out to their car, rather than go out the front door and take 12 extra steps to their car, they will go out the back door and save 12 steps. No, probably only 6 steps.
It's
not
probably
far.
Not even 12.
But they won't go out they'll come in the front door, but then when they go out on whatever they're going to do, they won't go out that front door again. They'll go out the back and save literally steps. This is how programmed we are to fear exercise and to avoid it at all costs.
Do you remember 2 years ago we had a No Lift Friday? This was a national event.
Okay, yeah.
People were encouraged not to use lifts.
Yes.
And use the stairs instead. Yes. Such is the way that we've become now.
Yeah. I told you about once again, when I worked in Birmingham. I lived in a block of flats, which was quite a posh block of flats. Actually, the flats near the top floors I was on the ground floor, where the cheap flats were. But there were some very rich people lived in the top flats. And we're talking like Ulrika Johnson was one of my neighbours. She lived in this block.
Wow.
Yeah. Stan Collymore used to show up now and again, which was always exciting because they weren't getting on. And one of the guys from that band Ocean Colour Scene lived in this block. It was a posh block of flats. And the basement was a gym.
Yes.
People used to come home, get in the lift on the ground floor, take the lift to the 10th floor, it was a 10-story block, to their penthouse, put on all their gym clothing.
You've got to look the part.
Get back into the lift, go down to the basement, and then work out in the gym. They would not use the stairs. But do you know what machine they used in that basement gym?
I bet I do.
The Stairmaster!
This is Bob.
Natalie, you tell me you're a talented singer, but I need you to prove it.
I will.
Okay.
In a moment.
What do you mean in a moment?
When I'm not in the staff room.
Get out the staff room, quickly. Get out the staff room. Get out the staff
I'm
room.
going.
Okay, where are you going now?
What would you like me to sing?
Well, where is the staff room, by the way?
Next to reception.
Yes, I know. Which school?
Oh, Chauncey School.
Chauncey School. Okay, and you teach music there?
I do.
Okay,
yes.
All right. So, I'm going to leave the choice up to you.
Oh, goodness. There's so many songs. You put me right on the spot.
I am. Do you perform publicly as well?
I haven't done for a very long time.
Okay, well, you know which one is the crowd pleaser?
Yes.
Yes, and I tell you what, we've got a lovely bit of echo in that corridor now. Lovely.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
It's great. It's going to sound great.
Okay.
Okay.
Think of a song, Glover. Come on.
What about a bit of an anthem, bit of a torch song? What about a bit of I Will Survive?
Because I won't know all the lyrics.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you know which ones the crowd liked. Which was your big number that you finished on?
I always finished on Somebody Else's Guy.
Oh, let's have a bit of that.
I can't get off my house, and I can't let you go. You are the one you are the one who makes me feel so real. Yeah. Oh, what am I supposed to do? Oh, what am I supposed to do, baby, when I'm so hooked up on you? Then I realize that you are somebody else.
Natalie, that talent is wasted at Chauncey School.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.
MPs are to debate banning Donald Trump from the UK today after 570,000 people signed an online petition calling for him to be refused entry.
People are idiots, and I'm constantly being given proof.
Right.
Now, the thing that has put Donald Trump where he is, which I'm pretty sure he's still the front runner, isn't he, as a Republican candidate for President of the United States?
You can't move for coverage of him at the moment.
You can't move for coverage of him. The two are linked. Donald Trump is the front runner because he gets the most publicity. He gets the most publicity because he says the most outrageous things. Hillary Clinton on the Democrat side is not getting much press at all because she's boring. Whatever you say about Donald Trump, and I think he would make a terrible president, you can't ignore him. He's there. He's worked the publicity machine. The more publicity he gets, the higher his numbers go. The people who've signed this petition are anti-Donald Trump. That's clear. But what they're doing now is giving him even more of the publicity that could actually make him president, you idiots! Holiday booking season time. So I'd like to know best and worst holiday you've ever been on. Simon's on the phone. What's the best holiday you've been on, Simon? Where'd you go?
I've got family in New Zealand, so we went through to Auckland and went down into a place called Paraparaumu, which is on the coast down just north of Wellington.
Yeah, down by
Kapiti Island.
Right, yeah, I know it. I know around that area. Not that well. But, yeah, because my uncle and auntie used to live in Upper Hutt. And, and for a while, my parents lived in Trentham. So,
Okay, yeah. That's racecourse.
Yeah, that's right, near the racecourse. They used to be able to walk to the racecourse from where they lived. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got family in Paraparaumu and in the hut, stuff like that. So,
In the Hutt Valley, yeah.
Yeah, well, a good friend of mine, he works, I think he works in the Upper Hutt, he's a fireman in the Upper Hutt, yeah, over Rupert Tuckers.
Yeah, the mountains there, yeah.
Yeah, over the Rubies, yeah. But yeah, marvellous place, love it.
It's a great part of the world, isn't it? Yeah, I lived in Whangarei for 7 years.
Right, lovely, yeah.
I was a pipe fitter on the construction of the expansion project of Marsden Point, the oil refinery.
Oh, would you?
Yeah, and then I got, for the first 3 years, then I got onto the maintenance side of things, heat and ventilating, air conditioning, yeah.
Right, yeah, no, I'd love to, but funny enough, me and my wife were talking yesterday about trying to get back out there maybe to live, but I'm getting on, mate, you know what I mean, so...
I don't know, how old are you?
I'm 48.
You know, my dad, because my family emigrated when I was 18, and I bet my dad was pushing 50 at the time. So...
Yeah, but now it's a struggle to get a working visa if you're over 49.
Oh, really? What do you do for a living?
I'm a truck driver.
Right, okay, well, you need truckies over there, because they've got hardly any railways.
Well, the only truck drivers they need are down doing the Christchurch reconstruction.
Of course, after the earthquake, yeah.
Yeah, they're still doing that, but you only get a year's working visa.
Oh, it's a start, and you never know what it leads to. And then if someone takes you on, then they'll sponsor you in and all that, you know.
It's a lot more difficult than that, though, mate. I wish it was that easy.
Tell you what, though, Simon, what a year you'd have, though, wouldn't you?
Well, that's what I say to the wife. It'd be a good year. Maybe you'd get an extension for another year. It'd be two great years, I know, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
The NHS is going to impose its own sugar tax to help what it says tackle the growing problem of obesity.
Right.
So what this means is that hospitals in England will start charging more for high-sugar drinks, snacks in their cafes and vending machines. They say it's with the aim of deterring patients, visitors and staff from buying them.
Do they now? And what are they going to do with the money?
This will raise between 20 and 40 million pounds a year.
20 and 40 million pounds a year. What are they going to do with that money?
They say it will be used to improve the health of NHS staff.
Nice and vague.
Yeah.
Nice and vague. That's what they're going to do. Because that's why we're all fat, isn't it? Because years ago there was a sugar tax, and when they removed the sugar tax, we all became fat.
That's right.
So put the sugar. Which is not. That's not the case, is it?
No, of course not. They say it's going to be rolled out over the next 5 years, and the NHS is doing this because of the role it occupies in national life.
That's right. So they're prejudiced against poor people.
Against poor people?
Yes, because a sugar tax will only affect... I mean, how much is it going to be on each, say, on a can of soft drink?
Well, they've not clarified this yet.
No, but it's not going to be like a fiver, is it? It's going to be pennies.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It might even be like 20p or something.
So if it's 20p,
like that.
someone who's well off and really wants a can of soft drink, happily pay the extra 20p. Someone who's struggling won't. So it's a tax on poor people.
Have you seen the price, though, currently, of those vending machine fizzy drinks? I mean, they cost a fortune anyway.
Yes, they do. Yes,
I mean, it's not like they're cheap in the first place.
Yes, they do. But they're making sure that poor people can't use vending machines. They've got something against the poor. That's what they're doing. It's a social engineering thing. It's because they're embarrassed by the anomaly that we have fat poor people. You know, starving nations don't have fat poor people.
No,
only developed rich nations have fat, and it's an anomaly. So they're going to stop that. We're going to make sure all the poor people are skinny and only the rich people are fat. And then everything will be right with the world.
Bob's Breakfast.
How mild is it, Chris?
Feels quite warm.
I don't remember the Met Office forecasting this. It was Arctic blast. 38 days of Arctic blast on the way to Christmas, and we got one cold morning. And then last week we were going to be snowed in, apparently, weren't we? And what did we get? 2 icy mornings.
That's right. They're predicting very heavy rain over the next few days now.
Right, okay. I like the way that they've been talking about this, what's going on the east coast of the USA. Say it's heading our way.
This is what they're saying.
But when it heads our way, it won't fall as snow. It will be windy and rainy. This is part of the Stormageddon coming over from America. It will produce conditions that will be just like any January.
It's Bob.
Simon's on the phone. Why is the world not like it used to be, Simon?
I blame new technology on everything.
Oh, on everything, okay.
Like arguing about who has the remote control when you finally get one.
Did you read my...
People not moving.
Did you read my blog yesterday?
I did. And then
that really did happen. We got the first TV we got with the remote control, and we're all thinking, "Wow, this is going to be amazing." And I said, "Where's the remote going to live?" Because I realise that this is all going to fall down if we can't find the damn thing. So I said, "It needs a place. Where's the remote going to live?" And my dad placed it and said, "It's going to live right here," and placed it on top of the set.
Yeah, your dad was the same mould as mine.
Right. Okay.
Free parking and the use of bus lanes are two of the benefits which may be offered to drivers of electric cars.
It's about time they let us all use bus lanes because, you know, I used to like using bus lanes a lot because there's never any traffic in them. Certainly there's never any blinking buses in them. This was in Swindon when I lived in Swindon, and I used to always drive in the bus lane. It was great.
We never caught.
Well, in Swindon they got rid of the speed cameras. So I figured they've got rid of speed cameras. There's no way that they're so keen on the bus line, so I was never caught. And then one day, I had Swindon Town got to the final of, I can't remember, it was the Johnston's Paint Trophy or the Auto. It was some trophy that Swindon Town at Wembley. So I went to Wembley, and on the way back, the traffic was bad, so I just naturally went in the bus lane and got a ticket. So I haven't driven in bus lanes since, but we should all be allowed in the bus lanes because it would actually... Because how does this make any sense? Okay, you look at the vehicles on the road now. It's mostly cars. Compared to cars, there are hardly any buses on the road. Even now, at peak time, it's mostly cars. So clearly, if you want to speed up the flow of traffic, a cars-only lane would do that because that's what most of the traffic is. But no, some genius decided we'll make it buses only when hardly any of the traffic is buses, and that's why we've got so many problems, because they've given the lane to the wrong vehicle.
Bob's Breakfast.
Good morning. I'm Graham Mack, and I have the answer to Britain's childhood obesity epidemic. It's really simple. Data from the Health Survey for England shows that 31.2% of children aged 2 to 15 are classed as either overweight or obese. Why is that? I was a skinny kid. Most of my mates were skinny kids. We were all scrawny. because compared to today's kids, we ate less and moved around more. That was because food was not that big a deal to us. There were only two things that mattered back then: watching TV and playing out. And when we watched TV, we did it without being exposed to shows about food. There were only two celebrity chefs: Fanny Craddock and the Galloping Gourmet. And only your mother watched them. And watching telly back then was a physical activity. To change channels, you had to get up out of your seat, walk across the room and push a button. You'd dive behind the couch to hide from the monsters on Doctor Who. And you'd rhythmically hit a younger sibling in time to the tune of all of your favourite shows. By the way, Blue Peter and the Banana Splits inflicted the most pain. As soon as a particularly good show like Thunderbirds or Captain Scarlet had finished, all the kids in the street would run outside and act out the entire show, even in the winter, when a balaclava on backwards transformed you into Spider-Man. And meal times, they were no fun at all, just boring. Mum's cooking was ordinary. Fanny and Graham Kerr never really rubbed off. We almost never ate out, and school dinners were horrible, as they should be. Now we live in different times. You can't turn on the telly without seeing someone sautéing, flambeing or pureeing. It's a constant stream of ready, steady, can't cook, won't dine with me, bake-off, MasterChef kitchen. The reason we have fat kids now is because of celebrity chefs. And I'm looking at you, Gordon, Ainsley, Nigella, Heston, Mary, and the rest, but most of all you, Jamie. Jamie Oliver. The Mockney naked chef. He's turned food into an obsession. He's made the chore of preparing meals look like fun. Cooking shows have replaced entertainment. Not only that, he's actually made food taste good. He's got mums the length and breadth of the country buying his cookbooks and making delicious meals at home. His biggest crime? He's made school dinners edible. How dare you? Now look at the size of British kids. The really sinister thing, though, about Jamie Oliver is that he's become very powerful. When he's not causing childhood obesity, he's busy cozying up to politicians and getting them to place the blame elsewhere. His latest recipe involves putting the government into a pressure cooker until they introduce a sugar tax. Unless Jamie Oliver is stopped within the next 10 years, skinny kids will be extinct.
This is Bob.
Superman is real. He actually saved a lady who was being robbed at a cash point machine in Gloucester. Bloke dressed as Superman. Now, he wasn't a superhero. He was wearing the costume for a charity thing, but he saw her being attacked through the window while he was having breakfast and ran out and helped her. So I'd like to know your fancy dress story. What's yours, Mark?
Well, my missus was going out with her friends to a fancy dress party, and I was invited, and I was like, no, I'm not going to go. But I'd made arrangements with her friends to go.
Okay.
So I went out and bought a Darth Vader outfit with a voice changer, the big black cape, the mask, everything else, the lightsaber.
Yeah.
They all went to the pub. I turned up a little bit after she had got there. She didn't know I was there. I had this mask on. She went to the bar. I stood at the bar beside her with the voice changer on and started trying to chat her up.
Right.
And she just looked at me and went, "Go away."
You freak.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, go away. Not interested. I was laughing, and she couldn't work out, and she was talking to her friends, and like, oh, that bloke's trying to chat me up. And then when I took the face mask off, I got a clout round the ear roll.
Well, fair enough too.
Bob's Breakfast.
Fancy dress stories this morning. Ben, what's yours?
A few years back, a friend of mine had his 21st birthday party, and it was fancy dress.
Yeah.
My girlfriend decided to go as Catwoman, and I decided to go as Busby the BT Bird.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Great night. Really enjoyed ourselves. Unfortunately, on the way, when we got home, I'd realised I hadn't got the keys to the house.
Right.
So, as we were quite in a jolly mood, I saw a window that was open.
Yeah.
A top window on the ground floor, and I thought, you know what, I can climb through that, not a problem.
Right.
Unfortunately, after my girlfriend gave me a boost up and pushed me through, halfway through I got stuck in the window.
Right.
Whilst I was stuck halfway in with halfway out in a yellow feathered suit with orange stockings and bird feet, I heard a voice saying, "Hello, sir, what have we got here?" I looked through the window and it was a policeman.
No.
Someone had actually reported a burglary.
Right.
And whilst I tried to explain I'd been to a party and it's my house, after the fits of laughter, he phoned the station at Hitchin.
Yeah.
And said, it's a false alarm, but I've got Busby and Catwoman in custody. And all I heard was on the radio was the controller laughing, like wetting their pants. And with his assistance, he managed to push me through to the window so I could get in and get out from the other side. But I think that was probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
Bob's Breakfast.
Well, an archaeological site in Mexico is going to start charging tourists for taking selfies. Those people who run the walled Mayan archaeological site in the Tulum National Park have decided visitors will have to pay for the luxury of using their phones there because basically several people have suffered selfie-related deaths. They say that there have also been injuries as well. Now they're going to be charging people £1.70 a shot to make them think a little bit more carefully.
That's a shame that they're charging, because I like the selfie. I often take selfies. I'm somewhere, I'll take a selfie. One of my favourites is at Piccadilly Circus. I've done it a few times. In fact, you've stolen my idea.
I nabbed your joke on that.
I take a picture of me at Piccadilly Circus and tweet it with the caption, "It's like Piccadilly Circus around here." I can't get enough of that one. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But I often, wherever I go, if there's something interesting in the background, I'll take a selfie. And I much prefer it to what you used to have to do, which is you used to have to give your camera to a total stranger.
That's right.
To get a photograph with you in it. And I was never comfortable with that. And it still bothers me now. If I'm lining up a selfie, because I like to frame them and line them up, if a total stranger comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you want me to take that for you?" I need to find a nicer way of telling them to get lost. Because I've got it, I think the last one we got, which was awful, and it's a terrible picture. We were at a Buddhist monastery in Tokyo. When we lived in Tokyo, we went out to this Buddhist monastery to see what goes on, and I've got a brand new iPhone, and I'm lining it up as the selfie to get me and Julie in it, and it's pouring with rain, so I'm holding an umbrella as well. So it looked like it was a bit of a job for me, but I was happy with it.
Yeah.
And this lady came up. She was really nice. She said, "Would you like me to take the picture of the two of you then?" And she was so nice. And I said, "Yeah, go on then." But I thought she was going to steal my new iPhone. She's going to run off with it. So you got this picture of Julie holding the umbrella and me holding the umbrella, and we look kind of in a Buddhist monastery in the background. But my face is the face of, is she going to nick that?
Bob's Breakfast.
Fancy dress stories this morning. What's yours, Sam?
My friends had a joint 25th birthday party.
Yeah.
And they had a theme, and it was a children's party. So I thought, I've got no idea what to go as. Limited funds because I wasn't being paid very well, so I couldn't go flash all out on a costume. But I managed to find a fancy dress shop that had, it was like, God, this is going to sound awful. Please don't get the wrong idea. It was like a giant baby costume. Oh dear God, I'm cringing now just at the thought of it. I had the big nappy, the booties, the bonnet, the bib, the whole lot.
The giant dummy?
No, I didn't have. I refused. I had that round my neck. but
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, my sister decided, well, you know, I'll drive you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd got ready at my mum's in Stevenage, so my sister drove me over to to Chewing, sorry. And I had no cash on me, so I asked my sister to pull up at a cash point in Stevenage Old Town,
Mm-hmm.
so that she could go and get some money for me.
Yes, good plan.
And I gave her my card, I gave her my PIN number, and she just looked at me. She went, "No, you do it."
Oh, no!
Honest to God, Graham, I can't remember the last time I was that embarrassed. That little moo bag made me get out of her car in the middle of Stevenage Old Town, dressed as a giant baby, to get my own cash. I mean, that's just mean. And how many people were out in Stevenage Old Town at that time on a Saturday night? Lots.
Oh, no. I'm feeling your pain.
Oh, it was so embarrassing.
Bob's Breakfast.